November of 2022, Auckland-based Reliance Transport took delivery of two Scania 25P electric trucks. The first two electric Scanias on New Zealand's roads. Their operation with Reliance is noteworthy, as they are part of the company's usual replacement schedule. This means they are expected to go to work and keep working like any other truck before them. They are also part of a much bigger initiative in the company's endeavour to manage its energy usage, and through this, leave a legacy of which generations to come can be proud of. Split between two yards, Ash Road Wirri and the Onehunga Port, Reliance Transport is a hive of activity. Despite all the coming and going and constant flow of containers, however, the company comes across as rather unassuming. Just a mainstay of the Auckland transport scene, as it has been for about 6 decades now. However, with Mark and Grant Dowra at the helm, a pragmatic pair of brothers, we find that change within the business is afoot. Considerable change. Paying close attention to the trucks as they rumble past the yard's boom gates, you immediately notice that they're all Euro 6 models from within the Daimler truck stables. With a 4-year replacement cycle at play, the fleet is as up to date as possible. This has long been a company policy by which maintains ultimate uptime and efficiency. Late last year, it was time for the last two Euro 5s to be replaced. With that came the introduction of Scania into the Reliance Transport fleet, the first two being battery electric 25Ps. Reliance had already explored electric options available. However, the company really wanted the choice of a factory-backed unit before taking the plunge. We thought, let's just relax and wait, explains Mark. It's not just the vehicle you need to think about, you must be able to trust the backup and service. Scania owns their distribution here, so partnering with them really was a no-brainer for us. As we look over the Scanias for the first time, you cannot help but notice the bright blue Project Switch sign writing that's adorning both sides of the battery packs. We asked Mark, what does this signify? He went on to explain. It's a step change that we as a company have embarked on, a 5-stage program to become carbon neutral and achieve ultimate efficiency. The biggest challenge for an operation such as Reliance Transport is energy consumption, and that dictates the choices we make when the time comes for fleet replacement. Stage 1 of Project Switch was the introduction of 4 electric Nissan vans 3 years ago, followed by the first electric cars, as well as 4 electric forecourts. Stage 2 was getting the entire diesel fleet through to Euro 6, and Stage 3, as mentioned, is the introduction of electric trucks and the company's first Scania electric reach stacker that operates at the Onehunga Wharf. Stage 4 is the commissioning of an on-site microgrid to power the EV chargers, with the 5th stage of Project Switch being a carbon sink of native reforestation. In the meantime, the company has a carbon zero offset in place and has achieved net carbon zero certification by Toitu Environmental. And that's what our customers want to know now. We report to one of our biggest customers all our CO2 credentials. It's part of life now. All the biggest companies in New Zealand are part of the emissions trading scheme and they want to know about their supply chains. But all that aside, it's just the right thing to do, said Mark. It's time to get in the cab and go for a drive. So we meet Mac Marati, one of the friendly faces of the Reliance team and our driver and chaperone for the next couple of days. Mac has been involved with electric Scanias and their integration into the fleet from day one, and to date he has only but praise to bestow upon them. So far the 25P units have not put a foot wrong. A real pleasure to drive, explains Mac. Named slightly differently from Scania's conventional badging of its diesel-powered trucks, 25P indicates that these EVs offer a range of up to 250 kilometres and have the P-series cab. The battery sets on these units are comprised of 9 33 kWh units, 2 sets of 4 on either side of the chassis rails and 1 set under the cab for a total output of 297 kWh. The vehicle is charged using a typical CCS Type 2 switch that has become the standard for EVs. The electric motor delivers a continuous output of 230 kilowatts, 310 horsepower, with a peak output of 295 kilowatts, 395 horsepower, and peak torque of 2,200 Newton meters. The motor unit is mounted roughly where you'd expect to find the gearbox, and from there drives through a conventional prop shaft. At about half, maybe 2/3 the size of a gearbox, it's surprisingly small, impressively so considering its output and the fact that it incorporates a 2-speed transmission. The rate of acceleration has been limited to protect the cargo and the truck's capability. Drivers would burn through electrons quite rapidly, blasting away from the lights given half the chance. An urban distribution type vehicle, the 25P is available as a rigid or tracked unit. It offers a GVW of up to 29 tonnes and wheelbases are flexible. The Reliance units are 6x2 with a steering tag axle. They weigh in at about 11 tonnes tier, plus 3.5 tonnes for the trailer and measure 20 metres in length. There's little going on in the P-Series cab to give the EV game away. In here it's everything you'd expect from a contemporary Scania. The 25P truly makes it easy. This becomes apparent the moment we glide out of the yard, and that's what it feels like, literally gliding in near silence. As we make our way through the urban jungle, other trucks sound loud as they drive past. Sure, as speed rises, so do wind and tyre noise, but even at a full 90 km/h in the Scania, the sound meter registered a 68 decibel average. Normally we'd expect mid-70s, and driving through town in the 25P, you're looking at a subtle 56 decibels. The ride and handling are like any other Scania on full air suspension, sublime. The unit manoeuvres around the city streets and tight confines of container parks and depots like any other in the Reliance fleet. By all accounts, it took a bit of doing to get the configuration just right within the confines of VDAM, something that will need to be done on a case-by-case basis until legislation catches up. It's also handy too that it features Scania's blind spot warning that indicates via lights in the A-pillars, passing vehicles when changing lanes or vehicles in the blind spot when turning corners. This feature is part of Scania's Advanced Driver Assistance System, ADAS, which also includes the likes of lane keep assist and automatic emergency braking. With Mac behind the wheel, the 25P zips around the city streets. It's quick off the line despite the restricted acceleration, accelerating up to 50 km/h in one fell swoop, with the gear set change barely perceptible at 30 km/h. Even building speed to merge onto the motorway requires only 3/4 application of the throttle pedal. It's truly impressive and belies the quoted output figures. Slowing down the Scania is aided by 5-stage regeneration, which works just like a conventional retarder via the left wand on the steering column. Stage 1 applies the regeneration with a light press of the brake pedal before the service brakes start to bite. As for effectiveness of regeneration, with sensible anticipation of traffic flow, you can see the battery charge percentage ticking up. With this in mind, Mac's quick to point out that driving the 25P requires a different approach to conventional diesel driving. It's not a diesel truck that you can just gun around town, but you learn quickly, and once you have some time behind the wheel, your mindset changes and you truly get the best out of it. The biggest privilege we get from producing this magazine each month is being granted access to the offices, yards and cabs of the companies that keep New Zealand moving. We never fail to learn something new, meet some brilliant people and admire what it is that really makes up the road transport industry of New Zealand. And it's the same for Reliance Transport. It's a company putting its money where its mouth is and driving itself into the most sustainable, efficient future that it can create for itself. With major OEMs suggesting cost parity with diesel in the second half of this decade, only a couple of years away, investigating how these alternatives could fit into your business is undoubtedly good due diligence. What Mark and Grant Dara have decided to do with Project Switch goes beyond this. It is a commitment, pure dedication. Good on you men, we can't wait to see what returns come from Project Switch and can only look on with admiration. To catch the full story on the new Scania 25P EV combinations for Auckland-based Reliance Transport, then catch a copy of the February 2023 issue of New Zealand Trucking magazine, or visit us at nztrucking.co.nz. Thanks for calling by to watch this video, and remember to hit those like and subscribe buttons for more of our content as it's uploaded. Have a great month out there, and travel safe.